So we can start, sir.
Yeah. Not yet time, I think. 1 minute more, I think.
Yes. It's 10, sir.
Okay. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, we are now into Kataksha Shatakam of Mookapanchashati. Shloka number 77, we will proceed. Yeah.
संसार घर्म परिताप जुषां नराणां कामाक्षि शीतलतराणि तवेक्षितानि चन्द्रातपन्ति घनचन्दन कर्दमन्ति मुक्ता गुणन्ति हिमवारि निषेचनन्ति.
We are in Kataksha Shatakam. Praise of Kamakshi sidelong glance. Here he says, Kamakshi, second line, Tava Ikshitani, your glances, he is using plural, your glances, Samsara Dharma Paritapa Jusham Naranam Shitala Tarani. Dharma is heat. Samsara Dharma, the heat of the samsara. Paritapa, those who are being roasted in the heat of samsara, those who are feeling miserable in the heat of samsara. Jusham means they are experiencing the heat. They are experiencing the misery due to the heat of samsara. Naranam, those people, for them, your glances are Shitala Tarani, very, very cooling. Shitala is cooling. Shitala Tarani means very, very cooling. Shitala, Shitala Tara. Now, how cool? He is giving some examples, but those examples are not really exactly equivalent. He himself says that because no example can be given for the coolness of Kamakshi sidelong glance. Chandra Atapanti, Chandra Atapanti. Atapa means normally it means the sunshine, but here it means the shine of Chandra, moonlight. Chandra Atapanti, they are like moonlight because normally something which is cool is compared to moonlight. So Chandra Atapanti, they are like moonlight. Ghana Chandana Kardamanti, thick sandalwood paste. Ghana, dense Chandana, sandalwood. Kardama is paste. Kardama is actually generally used as the slush, but here it is used as a paste. So sandalwood paste, which is very dense, that is very cool, isn't it? So he is giving that example. They become like dense sandalwood paste. Then mukta gunanti, they also acquire the quality of mukta, that is pearl. Pearl is very cooling and very attractive, very delightful. Pearl is cooling as well as delightful. So he says your glances are so cool that they can be compared to pearls in terms of quality. Then finally he says, Himavari Nishechananti. Nishechana means sprinkle. Himavari, ice cold water. They sprinkle ice cold water on the devotee. When the devotee experiences the sidelong glance of Kamakshi, he feels as if he has been sprinkled with ice cold water. This is another example. So he is giving 4 examples. The moonlight, the thick sandal paste, and the standard and very cooling and sprinkling the ice cold water. Now he says all of this, or by implication, are not equal to this. He is not still he is not satisfied. That is what it means. So he says, Kamakshi, your glances are very, very cooling for people who are experiencing the misery of the heat of samsara. They are like moonlight, they are like dense sandalwood paste, and they acquire the quality of pearl by delighting and by cooling. And they also sprinkle ice cold water. Next.
प्रेमाम्बुराशि सततस्य पितानि चित्रुं कामाक्षि तावककटाक्ष निरीक्षणानि सन्दुक्षयन्ति मुहुः इन्धनराशिरीत्या मारद्रुहो मनसि मन्मथ चित्रभानुम्
Second line again, Kamakshi, Tavaka Kataksha Nirikshanani. They were sidelong glances. Tavaka, your Kataksha, sidelong glance, Nirikshana, looking. So, your sidelong glance, when they are looked, when they are directed. Premamburashi Satata Snapitani. They are immersed. Snapita means they have bathed. They are bathed always, satata, in the ocean of prema, in the ocean of love. Your glances are bathed always in the ocean of love. Prema, amburashi, amburashi is ocean. Satata, always. Napitani, snana, we know. Same thing, napitani means they are ocean. Sandhukshayanti muhuhu indhana rashirityā maradruho manasi manmatha chitrabhanum. Now he is giving one more description of the sidelong glances. Maradruhaha manasi. Maradruha is Shiva, the enemy of Manmatha. Manasi, in his mind, in Shiva's mind, Manmatha chitrabhanum. Chitrabhanu is fire. Chitrabhanu has got several meanings. One of the meanings of the word chitrabhanu is fire. Now, Agni. Manmatha Chitra Bhavanam, the Agni of Manmatha, in Shiva's mind, Agni of Manmatha, Sandhukshayanti. Sandhukshayanti means kindle. They kindle the fire of Manmatha in his mind. The sidelong glances of Devi kindle the fire of Manmatha in his mind, in Shiva's mind. In what way? Muhuhu means always. Frequently, always. Indhana Rashi Retya. Indhana is firewood. Indhana Rashi, a mass of firewood. Retya, by way of mass of firewood. That is, for a fire for which Manmatha is responsible. Manmatha has kindled that fire. Now, for that fire, you need firewood. Now, which is the firewood? The firewood is the Kataksha. The firewood is the Kataksha. So he says, by way of the firewood, it is kindling that fire, which is created by Manmatha in his mind. Here, there are two contrasting factors which the poet nicely brings out. One is, now it is bathed in the ocean. The sidelong glance is bathed in the ocean. That means it is very wet, isn't it? The firewood is very wet. If firewood is very wet, how can it kindle the fire? But it does. That is the chitram. That is why he says chitram at the top. Chitram is, it is a wonder. Though the firewood is wet, it kindles the fire. That is one thing. Second thing is, now by the agni of his third eye, Shiva had reduced Manmatha to ashes. Now such a powerful Shiva is now subjected to the same fire of Manmatha, fire caused by Manmatha. Is it not a contrast? One who had killed Manmatha by his fire of the third eye, now he is subjected to the He is now suffering from, he is now subjected to the agitation of the fire of Manmatha. So that is the second contrast. So he says, Kamakshi, the sidelong glances of yours are bathed always in the ocean of love, and they kindle in the mind of Shiva, the enemy of Manmatha, the fire caused by Manmatha. Maradruha Manmatha. See, that is the contrast. He is actually Maradruha, but he is suffering from the fire of same Manmatha. Manmatha Chitrabhavanam. Fire of Manmatha, they are kindling by way of mass of firewood frequently. This is a wonder. Next.
कालाञ्जन प्रतिभटं कमनीय कान्त्या कन्दर्पतन्त्रकलया कलितानुभावम् काञ्ची विहार रसिके कलुषार्तिचोरं कल्लोलयस्व मयि ते करुणाकटाक्षम्.
Last line. Te Karuna Kataksham Mayi Kallolayasva. O Kamakshi, your sidelong glance of compassion, Karuna Kataksham, Mayi in me, Kallolayasva. Kallola is waves, waves of the ocean are called Kallolas. Kallolayasva means create waves in me. Through your sidelong glance, create waves in me. Means what? Make me happy. Direct your compassionate glance in the form of waves. So it creates waves. Now, how are these waves? Kalanjana pratibhatam kamaniya kantya. Kamaniya kantya, by its enchanting beauty. Kamaniya, enchanting. By its enchanting beauty, it is a rival. Pratibhata. Pratibhata means rival or enemy. Rival or enemy for Kalanjana, for the black collyrium. For the black collyrium, it is a rival or enemy by its sheer enchanting beauty. No way Kalanjana can compare to this Karuna Kataksham. Kandarpa Tantra Kalaya Kalitano Bhavam. Kandarpa Tantra Kalaya. Kandarpa is Manmatha. Kandarpa Tantra Kalaya is Manmatha's Kala. Art of Kama Shastra. By art of Kama Shastra, Kalita Anubhavam, it creates the power. Anubhava is power. It creates power. That means it brings you under the sway of Kama Shastra. That is what it means. It exercises the power by means of the Kama Shastra of Manmatha. Kanchi Vihara Rasike, that is an address. O Kamakshi, you enjoy sporting in Kanchi. Kalusharti Choram. Kallolayasva Mayite Karuna Kataksham. Karuna Kataksham is Kalusha Arti Choram. Kalusha is sin. Arti is misery. Choram is robbing. Your Karuna Kataksha robs the misery caused by sin. Every sin will cause a misery, isn't it? Like every merit will cause happiness. Similarly, every sin has to cause a misery. So, arti is caused by kalusha. So, that arti is removed by karuna kataksha. And the tendency to commit the sin is also removed. That is the implication. When he says kalusha arti chauram, now the misery caused by the sin is removed, but will the person commit the same sin again, will again be subjected to the same misery? No. The tendency to commit the sin will also be removed once you come under the sway of Karuna Kataksha. That is the implication of Karuna Kataksha. So he says, Kamakshi, you direct your sidelong glance of compassion in the form of waves in me, and those waves are by their enchanting beauty or a rival to the black collyrium which is applied on the eyes of women, and by the beauty of Kama Shastra of Manmatha, they exercise a power, unrivaled power. And oh Kamakshi, who enjoys sporting in Kanchi, Your Kataksha is a robber of the misery caused by sins. So that kind of Karuna Kataksha, please direct on me, causing waves. That means Karuna Kataksha comes in the form of waves. You know that because Karuna Kataksha is Chanchala that we have seen before. So the wave comes and causes waves in me, waves of happiness. uh, because a wave of happiness is better than a continuous happiness. Continuous happiness you will not enjoy to that same extent as wave of happiness. That is why he is using the term Kalloleswa, which also goes with the Chanchala nature of Karuna Kataksha. Next.
क्रान्तेन मन्मथमदेन विमोह्यमानस्वान्तेन च्यूततरुमूल गतस्य पुंसः कान्तेन किञ्चित् अवलोकय लोचनस्य प्रान्तेन मां जननि काञ्चीपुरी विभूषे
Kanchipuri Vibhushe, the ornament of the city of Kanchi. That is an address. Janani, O mother, O mother, O ornament of the city of Kanchi. Now there is a prayer. Lochanasya prantena kantena mam kinchit avalokaya. Lochanasya prantena, by the area of your eye. Area of your eye means the corner of your eye or the center of your eye or the other corner of your eye, any part of your eye. You please direct some part of your eye, the area of your eye. Kantena, which is very beautiful. Kinchit avalokaya. At least look at me a little bit. Look at me a little bit with the area of your eye, which is very beautiful. At least a little bit. Look at me. How is this glance? Now he is describing the glance. Krantena, Manmatha Madena, not Manmatha Dena, Manmatha Madena, Vimohyamana, Swantena, Tutataru Mulagatasya Pumsaha. Let us start with Tutataru Mulagatasya. Tutataru Mulagata is Shiva. Shiva who is at the foot of the mango tree. Tutataru is mango tree. Mula is the foot. Gatasya means one who is at the foot of the mango tree. That is Ekamreshwara. That Shiva, Pumsaha, that Purusha who is at the foot of the mango tree, that is Shiva, of Shiva, Pumsaha of Shiva, Swantene, by his own mind, Antena, by his own mind, by his Antakarana, by his own mind, which has become Vimohyamana Swantena, by his mind, which has become completely deluded. Vimohyamana, Mohyamana, deluded, Vimohyamana, completely deluded. Completely deluded mind he is having, Shiva. Why? What is he deluded with? He is deluded with Manmatha Madena, the pride of Manmatha, the conceit of Manmatha. Because Manmatha is acting in his mind with pride. So, because of the pride of Manmatha, the conceit of the mother of Manmatha, he is completely deluded. With that kind of deluded mind, Krantena, your glance goes and establishes closeness. Krantena means being close to. Because the subject is Lochanasya Prantena, that is the subject. We are describing the area of the eye. Now, the area of the eye, that means the glance, that the glance is close to this kind of mind of Shiva which is deluded. That means what? It creates all this. The glance creates all this agitation in the mind of Manmatha that he is putting very poetically. He says close to. Kranta means close to. It is attached. It is close to the uh, mind, the Antakarana, which is completely deluded of Shiva, Ekamreswara, who is at the foot of the mango tree, and the agitation is caused by the pride of Manmatha. So he says, O ornament of Kanchi city, O mother, please look at me a little bit by any part of your eye, any corner of your eye, which is so beautiful, and that eye glance is such that it is very close to the antakarana, the mind, which is completely deluded of Shiva, the one who has taken to the foot of the mango tree, Ekameshwara, whose mind is deluded because of the mada of Manmatha, the conceit, the pride of Manmatha. So please look at me a little bit at least. Next.
कामाक्षि केऽपि सुजनाः त्वदपाङ्गसङ्गे कण्ठेन कन्दलित कालिमसम्प्रदायाः उत्तंसकल्पित चकोरकुटुम्बपोषा नक्तं दिव प्रसवभू नयना भवन्ति
Kamakshi, KP, not Kopi, KP. KP means some people. K means some people. At least some people. At least some people. Sujanaha, they are virtuous people, not any some people, not any group. Kopi Sujanaha, some virtuous people. Swatu Apanga Sange, in contact with your Apanga, your sidelong glance. By contact with your sidelong glance, what happens to Sujanaha? What happens to those virtuous people? He is describing by giving three descriptions. Some three descriptions are given for those virtuous people. Kanthena, Kandalita, Kalima, Sampradayaha. Kanthena, by their neck, by their throat. Kandalita, Kalima, Sampradayaha. Kandalita means blossomed. That means abundant. In this case, abundant. Normally it means blossomed. Here it means abundant. Abundant quality of blackness. Kalima is black. Sampradaya, quality. The quality of blackness is abundant in their throat. That means what? Your sidelong glance is so black that it leaves a black color in their throat. Why he is talking about throat? Because Shiva has got a black colored throat, Neelakantha. So similar to Shiva, they also become similar to Shiva by your sidelong glance. Kandalita Kalima Sampradaya. Abundant quality of black color they enjoy in their throat, like Shiva. Uttamsa, then what happens further to them? Uttamsa Kalpita Chakora Kutumba Posha. Uttamsa, the top of their head. It is an ornament on the top of the head. Uttamsa. Kalpita. It is worn on the top of the head. What is worn on top of the head? What is worn by Shiva on top of his head? Moon. So the moon is described as Chakora Kutumba Posha. For moon, our poet has used so many different descriptions we have been seeing. Now, for the first time, using yet another description. Moon is described as Chakora Kutumba Posha, that which nourishes the family of Chakora birds. Chakora Kutumba Posha. Poshana is nourishment. So, moon nourishes the family of Chakora Pakshi. How it nourishes the family of Chakora Pakshi? Because Chakora Pakshi drinks only the nectar from the moon. It does not have any other food. It is a mystical bird which is described by poets, Chakora, which thrives, which lives, which sustains only on the Amrita coming from moon. So he says, not only one Chakora, a whole lot of Chakoras, Chakora Kutumba, the family of Chakoras, nourished, Posha, is nourished by moon. So the moon is there on the top of the head. The Shiva is having moon on top of the head. These people also are having moon on top of the head, like Shiva. Then, not only that, Naktan Divasa Prasava Bhu Nayana Bhavanti. Naktan Divasa is not there. Naktan Diva Prasava Bhu Nayana Bhavanti. There is no Sa there in between. Naktan Diva Prasava Bhu Nayana Bhavanti. Then only the meter will be maintained. Naktan Diva. Divasa is grammatically correct, but not required. For the meter, it should be Diva only. Naktan Diva, for day and night. Naktam is night, Diva is day. Naktam is Naktam Vrata, you might have heard. That is a Vrata which is observed only for the night. That means Naktam Vrata means you observe Upavasa during the day and you eat during the night, like Sankatahara Chaturthi. So, like that, that is called Naktam Vrata. Naktam means night. Diva means day. Prasava means producing. Producing night and day. What produces night and day? Moon and sun. The moon produces night, sun produces day. So Naktan Diva Prasava Bhu Nayana. Prasava Bhu, that which gives, that which generates night and day, that is sun and the moon. Nayana, sun and moon are in their eyes, because Shiva has got sun and moon in his eyes, isn't it? Sun in the right eye and moon in his left eye. Of course, he has got a third eye of Agni. We are not talking about that. These two eyes, which is sun and the moon, Surya and Chandra, Bhavanti, they become. Who becomes? The Sujanaha, the virtuous people, become with eyes of sun and the moon, which produces night and day. Kamakshi, some virtuous people, by contact with your sidelong glance, they get adorned in their throats, black quality of blackness, which is abundant quality of blackness in their throat, and they also get adorned on the top of their head with moon, which is nourisher of the family of Chakora birds, nourisher of the family of Chakora birds. And these virtuous people also wear the twin eyes of Surya and Chandra, producing day and night. Next.
नीलोत्पलप्रसवकान्ति निदर्शनेन कारुण्यविभ्रमजुषा तव वीक्षणेन कामाक्षि कर्म जलधेगे कलशीसुतेन पाशत्रयाद्वयममी परिमोचनीयाः.
Can you bring the first line down? There is a mistake there. I want to point out that. It says Nirdashanena. It should be Nidarshanena. Mami chanted it correctly. Nidarshanena is correct, not Nirdashanena, which is wrong. That's why I wanted to bring the line down. Now, Tava Vikshanena, second line. By your glance, which is Karunya Vibhrama Jusha. It is delightful because of compassion. Your Vikshana is delightful in the beauty of compassion. Karunya, compassion, Vibhrama, beauty. Jusha is delightful. It is delightful with the beauty of compassion, and Nilotpala Prasava Kanti Nidarshanena. Nidarshana is pointing out. It points to Kanti, the radiance, Prasava, generated by Nilotpala, the blue lily flower. The blue lily flower generates radiance, and your glance is pointing to that radiance. That means what? It is similar to that radiance. It reminds one of that radiance. Kamakshi, Karma Jaladhehe Kalashi Sutena. Now, the appearance of Vikshana was described in the first line. Second line, the quality of Vikshana was described. It is compassion. First line was the beauty. Second line is the compassion. Now, third line is the blessing. Karma Jaladhehe Kalashi Sutena. Kalashi Suta is Agastya. Agastya was born in a Kalasha, was born in a pitcher. That is why he is called Kalashi Suta. So, by Agastya, Karma Jaladhehe, for Agastya, it is the ocean of karma. That means what? There is a story that Agastya drank all the ocean by taking achamana. By one achamana, he was able to take all the ocean. He was able to drain all the ocean because one Rakshasa was hiding himself in the ocean, thinking that nobody can find him. Then, to help Devas, what Agastya did was he dried up the entire ocean in a minute by doing achamana. That was his greatness. So, similarly, your glance is like Agastya for the ocean of my karma, for the ocean of my karma. My karma is the ocean, not a small thing. It has been accumulated over several births. Now that ocean is being dried like Agastya by your glance in no time. So your Vikshana has got a beauty of Nilotpala. Your Vikshana has got the quality of Karunya, compassion, and your Vikshana has got the blessing of drying up the ocean of my karma. Now there is a prayer. Because your Vikshana has got all these three qualities, what you should do now? Pashatrayat vayam ami parimochaniyah. Ami vayam. We are all here. These us. This means he is pointing out to us. So these people who are here, vayam means we. Pashatrayat, from the three pashas, from the three bonds, parimochaniyah, we should be released. Mochaniyah, moksha means release. Mochaniyah, to be released. Parimochaniyah, to be released in all ways. That means these things should not come back in some other form. These pasha should not come back in some other form. Okay, it has gone today, it will come back tomorrow in another form. No, parimochaniyah means it should be completely gone in all forms. That is parimochaniyah. Pashatrayat, from the three pasha, from the three bonds which bind us to the samsara. What are those three bonds? What is the meaning by three bonds? Now, these three bonds can be interpreted many ways, but the traditional interpretation of Pashatraya is Ishanatraya, it is called. Ishanatraya means attachment, three types of attachment. That is Pashatraya. Putreshana, Vitteshana, and Lokeshana. These are the three Ishanas. Putreshana, attachment to sun, because the sun is required for redeeming our Pitru debt. We have got a debt for Pitrus. Now that debt can be redeemed only by having a son, because the son will do all the rituals after our death. So that Pitru debt, Pitru Rina, can be um, compensated only by a son. So that is called Putreshana, the attachment to a son. Similarly, Vitteshana, Vitta is wealth, because wealth is required for not only our living, but also performing dharma. For performing dharma, we need Vitta. So, Vitteshana, attachment to wealth. Then third is Lokeshana, attachment to the world. Attachment to the world. That means attachment to whatever attractions are there in the world, plus attachment to the fame in the world. We should get a good name in this world. That is one. In fact, Lokeshana can be interpreted in many ways. It also, some scholars have interpreted Lokeshana as attachment to Devaloka. That means after this birth, I must go to Devaloka and enjoy all the comforts of Devaloka. That is attachment to another world. So, Lokeshana, attachment to this world or the next world. Putreshana, Vitteshana, and Lokeshana. These three Yushana, these three Pashas are referred to as Pashatraya. So, from these, because any one of these Pashas will keep you bound to the samsara. You will come back to the same samsara again and again because of these bonds. So, he says, we should be released permanently from these three bonds, because your Vikshana has got extraordinary quality. Now, those extraordinary qualities are three. You have three extraordinary qualities. Please release us from these three bonds. The first quality was by your glance points to the beauty generated by the blue lily flower, and your glance delights in the beauty of compassion and your glance dries up like Agastya, the ocean of my karma. Hence, please see that we are released from the three types of bonds which bind us to samsara. The three bonds are Putreshana, Vitteshana, and Lokeshana. Next.
अत्यन्तचञ्चलम् अकृत्रिमम् अञ्जनं किं चङ्कारभङ्गिरहिता किमु भृङ्गमाला धूमाकुर किमु हुतासन सङ्गहीनः कामाक्षि नेत्र रुचिनीलिम कन्दलीते
Kamakshi Netra Ruchi Neelima Kandali Te. Netra Ruchi, your radiance of the eye, Te, your radiance of the eye. Neelima, it is black in color. Kandali, it is developed. It is highly developed. It is highly developed. That means it is very bright. Your netras are very bright. Can you bring it down? Atyanta Chanchalam Akritrima Majjanam. Now he is describing the sidelong glance. Atyanta Chanchalam Akritrima Majjanam Kim. No, it is wrong. Akritrimam Anjanam, it should be. Is it Anjanam? Yeah, okay, it is Anjanam. Okay. Atyanta Chanchalam Akritrimam Anjanam. Yeah, correct. Anjanam is, we have seen before, the collyrium which is applied to the eyes. That is Kritrima. That is humanly made. The collyrium is humanly made. But your sidelong glance is not humanly made. It is akritrimam. It is not artificial. It is natural to you. And it is atyanta chanchalam. It is extraordinarily fickle. It moves about here and there very much. Atyanta chanchalam, akritrimam anjanam. Similarly, anjanam does not move. Once it is applied, it stays there. But whereas your glance keeps moving here and there, and it is not artificial. Similarly, jankara bhangi rahita kimu bhringamala. Okay. Is it anjanam? No, it is not anjanam. It is bhringamala? No, it is not bhringamala. What is bhringamala? The row of bees. Bhringa is bees. Mala, the row of bees. Row of bees always will keep a buzzing sound, isn't it? A bee comes all with a buzzing sound. Jankara is the buzzing sound. Bhangi is the wave of buzzing sound. Rahita, without that. Your sidelong glance does not have the wave of buzzing sound, but it looks like Bringamala. It looks like the row of bees, but it does not have the accompanying buzzing sound waves. Okay, now we compared it to Anjana, it is not Anjana. We compared it to Bringamala, it is not Bringamala. Now here comparing to a third one. Dhumaankuraha kimu. Kimu means, is it so? Is it so? No, it is not. Answer is, it is not. Kimu, is it so? Dhumaankuraha kimu. Hutashana sangahinaha. Dhuma ankuraha. Dhuma means smoke. Ankuraha means just starting point. Budding of the smoke. Smoke bud. Is it a smoke bud? But it is, there is no fire. Smoke comes only when there is fire. Hutashana is fire. Huta ashana. Hutashana is fire. Sangahinaha. Without attachment to fire. That means with no contact with fire. With no contact with fire, there is a smoke. So it is not smoke, because smoke means there has to be fire. So he is denying three possibilities. One, the first possibility is Anjanam, collyrium. Second possibility was the row of bees, Bringamala. The third possibility was Dhuma Ankuraha, the bud of smoke. So he says, Kamakshi, your radiance of eyes, which is blackness, which is abundant, highly developed blackness, can it be compared to collyrium? No, because this is not artificial and it is extremely fickle, moving. And can it be compared to a row of bees? No, because it does not have the wave of buzzing sound. Then can it be compared to the bud of smoke? No, because it has no contact with fire. Bhutavasana Sangahina. Next.
कामाक्षि नित्यमयम् अञ्जलिरस्तु मुक्तिबीजाय विभ्रममदोदय घूर्णिताय कन्दर्पदर्प पुनरुद्भव सिद्धिदाय कल्याणदाय तव देवी दृगञ्चलाय
Kamakshi, last line, Devi, Tava Driganchalaya. Drig is seeing. Anchala, corner. The corner of your eye. For the corner of your eye, Nityam Ayam Anjalihi Astu. Ayam Anjalihi. This Anjali, this folding of hands, this respectful folding of hands, Nityam Astu. Let it be there always. This folding of hands, let it be there always to the corner of your eyes. Why? Because he is describing why he is folding his hands. Mukti bija, yeah, because your corner of your eyes is not ordinary. It is the seed of mukti. It is the seed of moksha. Mukti bija, yeah. Then vibhrama madodaya ghurnitaya. Okay, it is giving mukti, but it is very uninteresting. Is it like that? No, it is very interesting. It is delightful. Why it is delightful? Ghurnita means it is rolling. It is rolling with the rise of the pride of beauty, Vibhrama Mada, the pride of beauty. It is, that is the way poet describes. You cannot ask me why he is using so many descriptions. That is the way he enjoys that beauty. So he says it is the eye is rolling with the rise of pride of beauty. Kandarpa darpa punarudbhava siddhidaya. Okay. It is giving moksha. It is very beautiful. Two things have been said. Now, moksha is very high. Beauty is ordinary. Now, is there anything in between? Yes. Kandarpa darpa punarudbhava siddhida. It also gives siddhi. Siddhi means attainment. If you are asking for something and if you get it, that is called siddhi. Now, in the case of Kandarpa, in the case of Manmatha, he got a siddhi. What is the siddhi he got? Kandarpa darpa punaha udbhava. Darpa means his conceit, his pride. His conceit was born again. Punaha udbhava. It rose again. Udbhava is rise. It rose again. His conceit rose again. That means he was dead. He was burnt. Then he was brought to life. And because he was brought to life, he got pride in his achievement. So that achievement was given by your side long long. Kandarpa darpa punaha udbhava siddhidaya kalyanadaya. Kalyanadaya is a general term. It gives all kinds of auspiciousness. Kalyana is auspicious. Auspiciousness. So it gives all kinds of auspiciousness. So on the one hand, it gives mukti. On the other hand, it rolls with the rise of pride of beauty. And third, on the third hand, it gives the attainment to Manmatha of the rise of pride again. And on the fourth hand, it gives auspiciousness to all. O Kamakshi, to that kind of sidelong glance, the corner of your eye, may my Anjali be always there. May my folding of hands be always there. It gives, it is the seed of mukti. It rolls with the rise of beauty, of pride of beauty, and it gives the attainment to Manmatha by second rise of pride. Then it gives auspiciousness to all devotees. Next.
दर्पाङ्कुरो मकरकेतन विभ्रमाणां निन्दाङ्कुरो विदलितोत्पलचातुरीणां दीपाङ्कुरो भवतमिश्र कदम्बकानां कामाक्षि पालयतु मां त्वदपाङ्गपातः
Kamakshi, last line. Tat apangapataha mam palayatu. Tat apangapataha, the drop of your sidelong glance, the dropping of your sidelong glance on me, mam palayatu, let it protect me. Now he is describing that apanga. It is darpankuraha makaraketane vibhramanam. Makaraketana is Manmatha, one who is having the banner of fish, one who is having the banner of fish, Makaraketana. So Manmatha, Vibhramana, for all the delusions which he creates, and because of those delusions, he has developed Darpa, he has developed pride, Ankuraha, the bud of pride, the starting point, the bud of pride of all those delusions of Manmatha is your Apanga, isn't it? Because of your Apanga, he has developed pride of the capability of producing delusions. Nindankuraha Vidalita Utpala Chaturina. Vidalita means blossomed. Dalita, Vidalita, fully blossomed. Utpala, lily, blue lily. Chaturinam, for the cleverness. For the cleverness of blossomed lilies, Nindankuraha, it is the bud of despise. The first one was bud of pride. Now this time it is bud of despise, bud of criticism. Because the Apanga does not care for blue lily, it defeats blue lily by sheer beauty. So he says blossom, the cleverness of, it may be very clever in showing off its beauty, but that cleverness is nothing compared to the beauty of Apanga. So he says, for the cleverness of the blue lily, the blossomed blue lily, your Apanga is the bud of Ninda, bud of despise. Deepankuraha bhava tamisra kadambakanam. Tamisra means darkness. Bhava tamisra, the darkness of samsara. Kadamba is mass, not just simple some dark spot. We enter a room, it is dark, but we come out of the room, it is bright. No, it is not like that. It is a mass of darkness. Bhava tamisra kadambaka. That's why we are not able to come out of that darkness, isn't it? We are so much blinded by the darkness that we think that it is light because of our delusion. That is what he says. So he says, masses of darkness of samsara, for that your glance is Deepa Ankuraha. It is the starting point of Deepa. Deepa just started. The light has been just lit. The bud of lamp. The bud of lamp for the mass of darkness of samsara. So your sidelong glance, dropping of your sidelong glance, may it protect me because it is the bud of pride, of the beauties, of the delusions of Manmatha. It is the bud of criticism, of despise, of the cleverness, of the blossomed blue lily, and it is the bud of lamp for the masses of darkness of samsara. Next.
कैवल्य दिव्यमणि रोगण पर्वतेभ्यः कारुण्य निर्जर पयकृत मञ्जनेभ्यः कामाक्षि किं करित शङ्कर मानसेभ्यः तेभ्यो नमोऽस्तु तव वीक्षण विभ्रमेभ्यः.
Last line. Tava vikshana vibhramebhyaha namostu. I prostrate, I worship your Vikshana Vibhrama, the beauty of your glance. Vibhrama, beauty. Vibhrama has got two meanings we have seen, beauty as well as delusion. So, in fact, by beauty only it causes delusion. So, beauty is the basic thing. So, Vikshana Vibhramebhyaha Namostu. Now, those Vikshana Vibhrama is described. O Kamakshi, Kaivalya Divya Manirohana Parvatebhyaha. Kaivalya is moksha. It generates moksha. Your sidelong glance generates moksha. Now he is describing it very poetically. He does not say generates moksha. He says, for moksha, Divyamani Rohana Parvatebhyaha. Your glances are like mountains. Parvate, they are like mountains. Rohana, which generate Divyamani, they generate divine gems. What divine gems it generates? It generates the divine gem of Kaivalya. Your glances are like mountains which generate divine gem of moksha. That is the meaning. Of course, some people have interpreted Rohana as the name of a mountain where this kind of rare gems are found. We don't know which mountain is Rohana. That is not mentioned in the Puranas. So let us not worry about that. This meaning is better. Karunya nirjhara payakrita majjanebhyaha. Not manjanebhyaha. It is wrongly typed. That's why I was reading the other line as then I remembered that was Anjana, and here it is Majjana. Karunya nirjhara payakrita majjanebhyaha. Karunya nirjhara, the stream of compassion. Payaha, waters. The waters of the stream of compassion. Majjana means immersion, bathing. Majjana, nimajjana, majjana. Majjana means bathing, immersion. So, Krita Majjanebhyaha, having bathed in the waters of the stream of compassion, which is bathed your Vikshana. Your glance is bathed. This we have seen before. He is repeating it in different words. Kamakshi, Kinkarita, Shankara, Manasebhyaha. Shankara, Shiva, Manasebhyaha, his mind, Kinkarita, his mind has become servile, his mind has become servant. Shiva, like a servant, wishes to do anything dictated by Devi. He has lost his individual initiative. He has become like a servant. That means what? He is so much carried away by the beauty of your sidelong glance. That is the meaning. So, Kinkarita, having made a servant of Shankara Manasa, the mind of Shankara. These are all in plural, okay? All these are in plural because Vikshana Vibhramebhya, the beauties of your glance, the beauties of your glance are in plural. Tebhya, to those beauties, Namostu, my prostrations be. To those beauties of your glance, my prostrations are given. Those beauties are like mountains which generate the divine divine gem or divine jewel of moksha, and they have bathed in the waters of the stream of karunya, compassion, and they have made Shiva's mind into a servant. Next.
अल्पीय एव नवम् उत्पलमम्बहीना मीनस्य वासरणिः अम्बुरुहां च किं वा दूरे मृहीदृक् असमञ्जसमञ्जनं च कामाक्षिवीक्षणरुचौ तव तर्कयामः.
Kamakshi, last line. Tava Vikshana Ruchau Tarkayamaha. Tava Vikshana Ruchau, your glance, the beauty of your glance, the radiance of your glance, Tarkayamaha, we are considering by argument, by logical deduction, we are considering the radiance of your glance. Considering as what? Now he is giving various considerations for the glance. Alpiya eva Navam Utpalam. Amba, Amba, O mother. Navam Utpalam, the fresh blue lily, the fresh blue lily. Alpiyeva, it is very small, it is very inferior. The fresh lily flower is inferior. That is what we consider by tarka, by logical deduction. Similarly, Hina Meenasya va Saranihi Amburuham cha Kimva. Meenasya Saranihi, the row of fish. Sarani is a path, a road. Here it means a row of fish. Hina, they are also low in comparison. They are not comparable. The row of fishes is low, is inferior. Similarly, Amburuham cha Saranihi. Saranihi is common. Meenasya Saranihi va Amburuham cha Saranihi. The row of lotuses. Row of lotuses is also inferior. By logical deduction, we compared your radiance, the radiance of your glance with blue lily flower, we found it inferior. We compared it with the row of fishes, we found it inferior. We compared it with the row of lotuses, again we found it inferior. Alpiya. All are alpiya, all are inferior. Hina, inferior. Dure mrigi drgu. Okay, let us compare it with the eye of a deer, female deer. Mrigi is female deer. Drgu, the vision. The vision of a female deer. Dure, it is very distant. No comparison. Dure means very distant. No comparison, it is very distant. That means very inferior. Okay. Then let us compare it with Anjanam. Asamanjasam, Anjanam cha. Anjanam cha Asamanjasam. Anjana, the last comparison. Okay, let us take at least the last comparison of Anjana. Anjana is collyrium we have seen before, the black collyrium worn by women on their eyelid. Anjana is also Asamanjasa. Asamanjasa means not appropriate. There is no proper comparison. That is Asamanjasa. Samanjasa is comparable, appropriate. Asamanjasa not comparable. Mrigidruk Asamanjasam Anjanam cha. So he says, Kamakshi, the radiance of your glance, we conclude by logical deduction that the the radiance of the fresh lily flower is alpiya, is inferior. Similarly, the rows of fishes, the rows of lotuses, they are also inferior in terms of radiance. And in terms of radiance, the vision of the look of female deer is very distant, not comparable at all. And in terms of radiance, your anjana, your collyrium, which is applied on the eyelid by women, is not at all appropriate. Asamanjasam. That is our conclusion. I think we close for the day and we invite questions.
If anyone has any questions, kindly unmute and ask.
Yeah.